Okay, I'll be going through P5 Nanhua paper. This is a term 3 WA paper. Okay, so just take note for this paper, calculators are not allowed. Okay, question 1. What is the value of 200 plus 3 tenths plus 17 tenths? Okay, so 200s first, let's figure that out. So 200 will simply be 200. All right, 3 tenths. So 3 tenths, it's just a 30. Oh, notice the difference between the spelling here, tens and ten. All right. So normally how we understand this is tens means times 10. All right. Groups of 10. So 10 will be the opposite. With a THS, the spelling is different. This will be division of 10. So basically it's 17 divided by 10. All right. So 17 divided by 10, this will actually be 1.7. All right, so if you move the decimal point backwards after 7, treat the decimal point as after 7, move it backwards one time because divide by 10, that's how you get 1.7. Okay, so if you add all this together, this will be 230. 230 plus this is actually 231.7. So it's option 2. Okay, question 2. So we got to round this to one decimal place. So look for the first decimal place first. First decimal place is this 8 over here. Look at the number on the right-hand side. The number 2 is a weak number. Okay, this is a weak number, so it cannot help 8 to round up. So 8 should remain as 8. So your answer should be 8.8, option 2. Okay, question 3. Which of the following is the same as 10 kg and 24 grams? Okay, so 10 kg, you can leave it as kg. You notice that the answer they wanted in decimals. All right, so 10 is just 10 point something something later on. So option 1 and 2 obviously is out. Okay, so these two are out because this is like 1 kg only, 1 point something. All right, now 24 grams. So how do you convert 24 grams to kg? All right, this is where conversion has to happen. So recall 1 kg is 1000 grams. Okay, so notice that grams to kg conversion, the number is getting smaller. 1000 to 1 is actually a division of 1000, which also means you do the same for 24 grams. So 24 grams divided by 1000. So you move decimal point backward 3 times, 1, 2, and 3. You should get a 0.024 kg. Okay, so this is how we convert it. So now you can add it with the 10 kg. So 10 kg, just replace it here. So it will become 10.024. So it's option 3. In question 4, find the value of 90 divided by 600. Okay, so for this, take note, 90 divided by 600, it's a bit unusual that we're taking like a small number divided by big number. So of course you would expect a decimal in your answer. Okay, so now first what you do is you cancel out common number of zeros between these two numbers first. So you notice that the common zeros will be, hold on, let me just cancel this. So there will be 1 0 to cancel from the last position. Same for 600, cancel the last 0. So whatever is left is actually 9 divided by 60. Okay, now 9 divided by 60, you can go on to do long division. All right, that's one way. Or another way is you can go on to put it as a fraction first. All right, so 9 over 60. Now you notice this fraction you can further simplify. Both can divide by 3. So 3 over 20. Okay, so I'm just showing you one of the methods. Like I said, alternatively, you can go on to do long division for 9 divided by 20. Just keep adding zeros behind the 9 and then you should be able to get answer. All right, but I'm showing you the fraction way now. So now to change the decimal means your 20, you can change it to 100. Just times 5 times 5. So that will be 15 over 100. Can you see that as a decimal, it's just 0.15. So it's option 3. Okay, so personally, I prefer this method as compared to long division because then I deal with lesser zeros involved. All right, then this is a little bit more easy to work with. Okay, but it's a matter of preference anyway, your choice. All right. Okay, I'll go on to question 5. Okay, so question 5. Macy had $180. She spends 25% of her money on the blouse and 15% of her money on belt. How much did Macy spend on the two items? Okay, now take note for these two percentages, you can add them together because both percentage is representing of her money. This 25% is like blouse of her money. This 15% is belt of her original money also. Okay, so if you want to tell me you add these two percentages, no problem. There are certain questions whereby you cannot add the two percentages together because this second percentage is not, the denominator is not of her original money. It's like of something else, maybe of the remainder, something like that. Okay, so, or maybe of the discounted price. So that's why for that kind of questions, you cannot add percentages together. But for this, it's okay, it's safe because of the fact that it says of her money. So I always use the word of something to understand what the denominator in that percent represents. It's definitely useful. Okay. So whatever she spent, okay, her spending percentage, we can actually work that out first. It's actually 25% plus 15%. So that means she spent 40% of her money. Okay. Now, how much did she spend on the two items? So basically, we want to find out what's the value inside this 40%. So there are a few ways from here. You can do the units way. Units way is when you treat $180 as your 100%. All right, this is your 100%, and then you go and find 1%, and then you go and find 40%. That's fine. Okay. Now, but to be honest, that method would usually be useful if you get to use calculator. Okay, so I'm not saying that method is wrong. No problem. If you're good with your calculations without calculator, that's okay. All right. If not, alternatively, you can consider using the multiplication method that we taught in class. So when I say I spend 40% of her money, that also means she spent 40% of her $180 at first. So you can simply use your 40%, 40 over 100, multiply by $180. You multiply by her original money because this is what she's spending on. She spent 40% of her $180. Okay, so from here, since you can't use calculator, you gotta learn to do the cancellation method. So this is how I do the cancellation method. I first focus on 40%. Notice that 40 and 100 both has 0 at the back. Cancel off the 0. Next will be to look at 10 and 180. 10 and 180, there's a common 0 to cancel off. Okay, so the first one is in brown. I've color coded. The second one is in red. All right, so whatever is left is just 4 over 1. 4 over 1 is just 4. So this is 4 times 18. So 4 times 18 is actually $72. So this is what she spent. That means you can say that the 40% is $72 when you do this step. This is what you are getting. Okay, so it's option 3. Okay, question 6. Janice had some blue, yellow, and red beads. 3 over 10 of the beads were red. You see again, the word of the beads means 10 is the total beads. 1 over 10 of the beads were yellow and the rest were blue. So same thing of the beads. Okay, the same 10, these two tens are the same total beads at first. What percentage of the beads were blue? All right, so since they give us these two fractions, okay, we are going to find out what is the blue fraction first. Okay, let's work that out first. So remember, every time your total is treated as one whole, you minus away the red, you minus away the yellow. So this one you can safely subtract. You take one whole minus these two fractions in the same step because these two denominators represent the same total bits. If these two denominators don't represent the same total bits, you cannot do this step here. Cannot, all right? You're going to probably do the remainder model or so and so. So this will be 6 over 10. So the blue bits represent 6 over 10 of the total. Now the question wants percentage for the blue bits. Okay, so to do percentage means you can go on to change denominator to 100, 60 over 100, and this works out to be 60%. Okay, so it's option 2. Alternatively, you can just take 6 over 10 times 100% to convert a fraction to percentage. That works also. Okay, I'll go on to question 7. Okay, 60 cats and dogs were brought to the SPCA last month. So there were 36 more cats than dogs. What percentage of the animals were cats? So notice they give us total. Okay, 60 cats and dogs is the total. Whereas 36 more cats than dogs, this is the difference. We have no idea how many cats are there. We have no idea how many dogs are there. So questions like that, whereby they give you total and difference, you're going to think of a simple comparison model. Okay, so some of you are able to do this without model, that's fine. So I'll just quickly show a very simple comparison model that you have done in lower primary. So this is not new to you. So this is 36, total is 60. Okay, so as you can see, we can now go on to find the dogs and the cats respectively. All right, so it's actually just 60 minus 36, then 24 divided by 2 units. Okay, so each unit is 12. So if you want the cats, means you have to plus the 36. Okay, maybe let me just do it here, cats. So 12 plus 36. So there are 48 cats. Okay, now we're not done yet because the question wants percentage. Okay, so right now you cannot just tell me this is like 48%. All right, 48 is just 48 cats. Okay, so before thinking of percentage, we should focus on creating a fraction first. So just imagine this word is replaced with the word fraction. What fraction of the animals were cats? Then you should be able to create your fraction. Okay, so the fraction I want is cats over the total animals, because they ask you what fraction of the animals. Of the animals means total animals at the denominator. Cats obviously is at the numerator. All right, so cats will be 48. Total animals, we know it's 60. All right, so from here, you just need to convert this to percentage. All right, two ways. You want to times 100 straight to this, or you want to simplify this first, then change to denominator 100. I leave it up to you. Okay, so I'll just do the denominator way, change to 100 denominator way. You notice both numbers can divide by 6, which is 8 over 10. So 8 over 10 is 80 over 100, which is actually 80%. So it's number 1. Okay, question 8. So the table shows the postage rates for sending parcels to the Philippines. Okay, so take note there are 2 different types of percentage presented here. First 20 grams, they charge you 90 cents flat. After that, after any weight that's exceeding the 20 grams, that's more than the 20 grams, this is where they start to break it down into different sets of 25 cents. So every additional 10 grams or less is 25 cents charge. Okay, find the postage for sending a parcel which weighs 85 grams to the Philippines. All right, so this is how I'll do it first. My 85 grams that I have here, by the way, this question is on the topic called rate, R-A-T-E. Okay, so it must be clear, like this is from where. All right, now they say 85 grams. So first, let's look at the table. All right, definitely we will prioritize the first 20 grams first, because definitely this has to be counted. Your first 20 grams from the 85. Definitely you have to pay this 90 cents for sure. All right, so 90 cents, confirm you must pay that. Okay, so maybe I'll just put a tick next to the 90 cents to know that I'm supposed to pay this 90 cents. Okay, now the next is knowing how many 25 cents to pay, because this 25 cents is for every additional 10 grams or even lesser. You still have to pay 25 cents. Okay, so what we have to do is we have to find the remaining mass after I clocked this 20 grams. the remaining mass, okay, let me switch to my blue pen. The remaining mass will be 85 grams minus the first 20 grams, which is actually 65 grams. So your 65 grams category must fall in the second category of pricing here. Okay, I put next to here, 65 grams is used, well, the calculation for 65 grams applies by using this. All right, so we're going to find out how many 10 grams are within 65 grams. All right, so I hope you can see there are actually 6 sets of 10 grams within 65 grams. So how do I do that? You can just do 65 divided by 10 lah. All right, that's fine. All right, so 65 divided by 10. So actually there are 6 sets of 10 grams. All right, so maybe we can do it like that. So 65 grams. Can just do a number bond like that. Will be made up of 6 times 10 grams. 6 sets of 10 grams, and the remaining will be 5 grams. I hope you all agree on this. 60 grams here with another 5, so that makes up 65 grams. So now I'm just going to write down the pricing that represents this. Okay, so 6 sets of 10 grams means, you see, every additional 10 grams. Every set of 10 grams, they charge you 25 cents. But since I've realized that there's 6 sets of 10 grams, that means over here, this will be 6 times 25 cents. All right, so this works out to be $1.50. Okay, now what about the 5 grams here? The remaining 5 grams, do I have to pay for it? Definitely, because if you look at this second layer pricing again, it says that or less. Anything, when they say or less, right, means anything less than these 10 grams mentioned, you also pay 25 cents. Okay, so this remainder of extra 9 grams, you also pay 25 cents more. You pay, let's say this is 1 gram, you also pay another 25 cents more, no choice. Okay, so in this case, your 5 grams, they have to charge you the another 25 cents then. Right? So let's add up all the pricings that we're supposed to pay, 90 cents. Okay, $1.50 and my 25 cents. So add all these 3 pricing up. Okay, so I'm going to add this up. So this works out to be $2.65. All right, and that will be option 2. So such a question, you need to slowly break down the rates. All right, you can put a tick on those that you confirm need to count in your calculation. So like what I did here. All right, then for the next category of pricing, you can break it down like that. Okay, so this is just one way to help you stay on track as to what are the pricings to include in the last step. Okay, I'll move on to question 9. Find the value of 3 divided by 7. Give your answer to 2 decimal places. The one answer in decimal means that from here, you can actually go on to do a long division. Okay, so 3 divided by 7. When you do long division, make sure you know where to put 3. 3 should be inside. Say 7 is outside. Okay, so 3 divided by 7. Let's do the division. 0. Subtract. Now, because we want decimal place, right? We want decimals. So you're going to add on a 0.0 behind. Okay, decimal point, bring it up. 4 times 7, 28. Now, how do we know where to stop? Okay, do we add another 0 again or do we not? So this is where you look at this. They say correct to 2 decimal places. When they say this, okay, when they say this means your answer, not say answer, but your working, okay, your working answer must show at least 3 decimal places. At least, because you need to show at least 3 decimal places, then you can round it off to 2 decimal place. If you have done it to 4 decimal place, also can, no problem. 5 decimal place also can, but don't need so many lah. Alright, so generally if they ask for 2, correcting to 2 decimal place means here your working must go on and do up to 3 decimal places at least. Okay, so we no choice, we need to continue. Alright, so bring down another 0 like that. So 20 divided by 7 is a 2, so 14. Right now, there's only 2 decimal place, right? Not enough yet. Like I said, our working answer to show at least 3 decimal place. So go on to do one more 0. I think should be enough for here already. 60 divided by 7 is 8. Okay, so do we continue another 0? You can, but not necessary. Okay, up to here, there's 3 decimal place already. 0.428. This is good enough. All right, so in other words, 3 divided by 7, you have 0.428. You can put dot, dot, dot to represent more numbers actually. So now you can start to round off to 2 decimal place. When you round off, use the curly sign. So look at the second decimal place. It's a 2. 8 is a strong neighbor. Okay, so 8 is a strong number, so it will help the 2 to round up. So this will give us 0.43. So that's it. Okay, question 10. So Fatima bought a computer which included a GST of 8%. The price of the computer before GST was 2,200. How much GST did she have to pay? All right. So if you look at the 2,200, this is before GST. In other words, you can call this the original price. Original is like before the discount happened, before the GST happened. Okay, the real original price. All right. So since original price is given, you have 2 methods to apply, 2 possible methods. Okay, you have the flexibility to apply any of this. You can do the units way, that's one, or you can do the multiplication way. Okay, so you get to decide. So maybe I'll just quickly show both methods. All right, I'll show method 1 and method 2. All right, so method 1 is my favorite because it's more efficient, it's faster, which is the multiplication way. So I just need to simply calculate the GST, which is 8% of the 2,200. GST is 8% of 2,200 means you can straight away find the cost of GST by using 8 over 100 times your $2,200. Okay, personally, I feel this way is a lot faster. So for this, since you can't use calculator, right, you can just cancel the number of zeros. So 0 cancel, 0 cancel. So that will be 22 times 8, which is actually $176. Okay, so that's it. This is in one step. All right, so I'll show you method 2 now. Okay, so method 2 is slightly longer, but it may be something that you find it more familiar as you have done it in your past, lower primary also, units way lah. Okay, so method 2 is the unitary way. Now, units way means you first identify how many percent is your $2,200. Okay, so since this is the original price means 100%. Okay, so 100% is your $2,200. Now, units way means always finding 1 unit, right? So this time we are finding 1%. 1% is like 1 unit actually. Okay, which is 2,200 divided by 100. So this will be $22. After which they want the GST only. So GST only is 8%. So you work out 8%. Which works out to be the same value, $176. So this is just the GST alone. Just the tax alone is $176. Okay, it's not the price that he paid for the TV. Sorry, it's not the price that he paid for the computer. It's also not like the final price. It's just the extra taxes alone. Okay, I'll move on to question 11. Okay, Janet spent 30% of her savings on the camera and the rest on her laptop. Her savings was $3,600. How much did the laptop cost? Okay, so 3,600 is her total savings. All right, that's her total savings. And out of this savings, she spent 30% on camera and the rest on the laptop. All right, so they ask you how much did the laptop cost? Okay, so in this case, I hope you can straight away identify the laptop is 70% of her savings because 30% of her savings on camera. So the rest means 70% on laptop. 100 minus 30. That's how I get 70. Okay. Now, her savings was 3,600. So this is the total. That means 70% of 3,600 on laptop. Again, you have two ways. You can apply the method one or you can apply method two. So I leave it up to you. Okay, so let's say if you apply method one means the spending on laptop, you just need to do it in one step. You can just use 70%, 70 over 100 like that, multiply by her total savings. Okay, so this way definitely works also. All right, so cancel common zeros. Next will be another zero here. All right, so this leaves us with 360 times 7. 360 times 7, if you calculate, is actually $2,520. That is how much she spent on the laptop. If you want to do method 2, the units way, then you must understand the 3,600 is how many percent first. This is her total savings, right? So total savings is 100%, which is the $3,600. Okay, then you can find 1%. So they want the laptop. So remember the laptop costs you 70%. So we work out 70%, which is $36 times 70, which will be $2,520. So you should notice actually for method one is a lot more straightforward in terms of calculation because after you cancel the zeros, right, the simpler fraction is easy to multiply by the whole number here. Whereas if you do the units way, it's a bit more troublesome because you have to do like two calculations here. Okay, but honestly, it's up to you. It's your choice. So it depends on what you're comfortable with. Okay. Okay, we'll move on to question 12. A t-shirt printing machine can print 3 t-shirts in 2 minutes. At this rate, how many such t-shirts can the machine print in an hour? Okay, so an hour, we're going to change this to minutes first because this one shows in minutes, right? So let's change this to minutes. So 1 hour is 60 minutes. All right. So if I 3 shirts in 2 minutes, all right, you can actually find out how many sets of 3 shirts to print in the 60 minutes, like grouping like that. Okay, 3 t-shirts in 2 minutes, like one group. All right, so you want to find out how many of those groups, you can simply use 60 divided by 2, which is 30 groups of 3 t-shirts. So now I can find out how many t-shirts in the 30 groups. You can just take 30 times 3 because a group has 3 t-shirts. So that's it, 90 t-shirts. Alternatively, some of you prefer to show it like that. 3 t-shirts for in 2 minutes, right? Then you like to do like that 60 minutes. Okay, you want to find out how many t-shirts, that's fine. Okay, then after that from here you do like the arrow thing. Okay, that's okay. So I don't think it's wrong, it's not wrong. This is just times 30. 2 times 30 give you 60. So you do the same on the left-hand side. This works also. But of course, this actually whatever I've done in my blue here is the same as whatever I've put in red. It's just that for the blue one, I'm clearly showing out the division. I'm clearly showing out how to get the 30 here, which is actually 60 divided by 2. That's how I get 30 here. So this 30 will be applied to the left-hand side. Okay, let's go on to question 13. So muffins are sold at Barney's Deli at the prices as shown below. What is the minimum amount Mrs. Roger has to pay if she wants to buy 37 muffins? Okay, so we look at the pricings here. They have 3 different types of pricings presented. If you buy 1, you pay $1.80. But if you buy 2, you pay $3. If you buy 5, you pay $7. Okay, so if you think about it, right, such pricings are very common, okay, and usually when they offer 3 pricings like that, means that actually the last one, the one that you buy the most muffins, will be the most worth your money. Why do I say that, right? Because if you say 5 for $7, let's say you calculate 5 for 7, let's say you calculate from $1.80. Let's say you buy 5. You buy 5 means you pay 5 times of 180, right? Do you know 5 times of 180 is actually $9? That means if you were to buy 5 muffins separately, you have to pay $9 if you follow this pricing. But if you buy 5 in a group together, 5 muffins in one set together, you only need to pay $7. Then of course, this 5 muffins bundle is more worth the money. It's cheaper per muffin in a way. Okay, of course, 2 for $3 still okay. 2 for $3 is still not so bad. But again, if you look at the $1.80, if you buy two separately is 180 times 2. 180 times 2 is actually 360. 360 is still a little bit more pricey than this 2 for $3. Of course, then if I want to buy 2, I will use the $3 pricing. Okay, so this is how it works. So now the question asks for minimum amounts that she has to pay. Minimum means as low as possible, as cheap as possible. So obviously, I will start to prioritize. I will start to put emphasis on the last pricing first, because this will allow you to spend as low as possible. Okay, so she wants to buy 37. 37, you cannot be buying all 37 sets of 180. It's impossible. It's going to be very expensive. Okay, so let's find out how many groups of 5 she wants to pay first. Okay, so your 37 muffins, what you're going to do is you're going to find out how many sets of 5. This is where your division comes in. Okay, you are going to take 37 divided by 5. Okay, so this one is star pricing. I'll put this first. All right, 37 divided by 5, you do your calculation, you should have 7 groups. There will be a remainder. So we're going to present this as a remainder. Grouping question like that, you should know this is a remainder. You don't put decimal. All right. So 7 groups of 5 means 35 muffins. These two together is 35 muffins. 35 muffins, you minus from 37 muffins, that will be remainder of 2 muffins. So you must know what remainder represents. Remainder represents the muffins. Okay, now we're going to shift our focus to the amounts that she needs to pay. So in the 7 groups, okay, how much am I paying in the 7 groups here? So 7 groups is the star here. I put a star so that you know it's this one. All right, so one group costs $7. So since I'm paying for 7 of those groups, means 7 times $7, 7 sets of $7, which is $49. Okay, now but don't forget, she has to buy that 2 muffins also, because if she buys 7 groups, right? 7 groups of this is only 35 muffins. Because 7 times 5, that's only 35 muffins. All right, she wants to buy 37, so your remainder of 2 muffins, she has to buy it. No choice, she must buy, because she needs 37. So these 2 muffins, which pricing will you follow? Okay, so the 2 muffins, obviously, like I said, we follow the more worth pricing, which is the 2 for $3. Definitely, I'll make use of that. Okay, so these 2 muffins, I'll make use of this one. All right, which also means that this is $3. All right, so now finally we can add up the money that she needs to pay. The $49 from the 7 groups plus that $3 that she has to pay, which is $52. All right. Okay, question 14. Lydia has $520 in her bank account. The bank pays her interest of 2% each year. How much interest will the bank pay Lydia at the end of 1 year? Okay, so back to percentage question. All right, so interest basically is like free money that the bank gives you. Okay, so if you see, if you put some money at the start of the year in your bank account, you save money in your bank account, and then let's say you never withdraw any money, you never take out any money. At the end of 1 year, you realize that your account, you go and check your account, you realize that it's slightly more than your $520. And that's because the extra money come about because the bank pays you this interest. You can think of it as like free money from the bank lah. Okay, so they give interest to thank you for opening an account with them. It's their way of thanking you. All right, so that's how interest works usually. So this interest of 2% each year is usually calculated as every year, a year interest. So how much interest at the end of 1 year? You can just calculate how much is the 2%. Again, 2 ways to do from here. You can do the multiplication way because it's 2% of the 520 Or another way is you can use the units way. Okay, so anyway, I'll show both methods. So for the interest, it's simply your 2%, 2 over 100, multiplied by what she first put in. So if you do the cancellation for this, 0, cancel. So this is 2 times 52. 2 times 52 is $104. 104 then divide by 10. 104 divided by 10 is actually $10.40. Just move decimal point. Okay, so that's it. This is the interest that the question asks. How much interest? They only want interest. So this is the answer. All right. Or like I say, if you don't want, you do the units way. So 100% is the amount that she start putting in at the very beginning. $520. Then you find 1%. Okay. Then you want the interest, which is only a 2% interest. So you can just use your 520 times 2, which works out to be the same answer, $10.40. Okay, Nanhua paper 2 for this weighted assessment term 3. Okay, so let's look at the first question. An online seafood market offers the following types of seafood. So the prices are stated here. And Mr. Sim ordered 1 kg of fish, 800 grams of prawn, and 1.8 kg of crabs from the market. And he required his order to be delivered. How much did he pay altogether? All right, so based on the mass of fish first, we look at a fish. So the price stated here is every 200 gram, you pay $9.60. Right, so we're going to find out how much do 1 kg of fish cost first. Okay, so based on the prices for fish, okay, I'll just list out like that. 200 grams cost me $9.60. So since I'm paying for 1 kg of fish, 1 kg is actually 1,000 grams, right? Okay, so 1,000 grams. So if you notice, actually 1,000 grams is actually 5 times of 200. How do I know it's 5 times? You just take 1,000 divide by 200. That's how you know it's a times 5. Okay, so in other words, here, this will be a times 5 to get 1 kg. So we're going to do the same on this side. Now, do take note that for this paper, you're allowed to use the calculator. It is stated in the question here. Excuse me. So line 60 times 5 is actually $48. Okay, so that's the cost of the fish. Now we shall go on to the prawns. Okay, so for the prawns, this is how I organize the data. So prawns, for the prawns is every 100 grams, it costs $2.80. All right, so Mr. Sim is buying 800 grams of prawn. Okay, so actually that will be pretty easy to calculate because as we know, 800 grams is actually 8 times of 100. Okay, so basically it means that I have to take this is actually times 8. So you do the same for the price. This one also times 8. Okay, so 280 times 8 is actually $22.40. Okay, the next one will be for the crabs. Okay, so for the crabs, okay, for the crabs, it costs $55. for every 1 kg. This one I'll just keep it in kg because anyway, Mr. Sim is buying 1.8 kg. Okay, so to find 1.8 kg of crabs, all right, now don't worry about the decimal point, all right, just ask yourself 1 to 1.8, here to here, okay, what are we multiplying? So actually it's the same thing, right? If it's 2 kg here, you just take 1 times 2 to get 2. If it's 5 kg here, you take 1 times 5 to get 5. So basically 1 times your 1.8 to get 1.8 kg. So this is just a times 1.8. So you're going to do the same on the right hand side for the cost. So $55 times 180, which will give us $99 for this. Okay, so that's the cost of the crab. So you're allowed to use calculator, so rest assured, just go ahead and multiply this way. Okay, so what is the total that he's spending on all the seafood? Okay, so basically I add all the money up, $48 from the fish. For the prawns will be $22.40. And for the crabs, it's $99. Okay, now take note, there could potentially be a delivery fee to be added in. So the delivery fee is a $15 extra for any orders that are below $200. So what this means is that the cost of your items, if it falls below $200, you have to pay this extra delivery fee. But if your items here cost way above 200, if it costs above $200, then your delivery fee is waived off, it's free delivery fee for you. Okay, so this is how it works usually also. All right, so in this case, based on my calculation here, we're going to calculate this first, how much he's spending. It should be below $200. So this was only $169.40. So he hasn't hit the $200 yet. So no choice, he has to pay the delivery fee then. This one he has to pay for it. Okay, so 169.4 plus the $50 delivery fee that he has to pay, which amounts to $184.40. So this is your answer. Okay. So have some organization to your workings, like how I present the workings, I split them up into 3 different seafood workings with the title. It's very neatly done this way. Okay, it helps you stay organized also so that later on you will know what are the values to add up in your last 2 steps. Okay, we'll go on. Okay, question 2. So Diana and Evelyn each had an equal amount of flour. They used the same amount of flour for each muffin they made. So Diana made 50 muffins and she had this much of grams of flour left. Evelyn made 24 muffins and had 1.19 kg of flour left. Okay, so first thing first, do take note, this one is in grams, this one is in kg, so you should go on to convert this to grams first to make sure your calculations later can be consistent. Okay, so for kg to grams, we all know it's times 1000 because 1 kg is 1000 grams. So kg to grams is times 1000. So we times 1000, just move the decimal point forward 3 times. 1, 2, 3. This should be a 1190 grams of flour. Okay, so we put that down first so that we remember this the grams. Okay, so in this case, for this question, we're going to use a model method to solve. All right, so then Diana made 50, she had this much left. Evelyn made 24, she had this much left. You can easily present all this information on the model, and also because of the fact that they both started off with same amount of flour. So it makes things a little bit easier to work with when you use a model. Okay, so I'll start off with drawing 2 equal sizes because I follow the first information. Both of them each equal amount of flour at first. So we start off with that first. Okay, so Diana and Evelyn. Okay, so Diana made 50 muffins and had 670 grams of flour left. So we're going to indicate that on the model. Okay, so Diana made 50 muffins, so we are going to shade off 50 from the model, maybe something like that. This is the 50 muffins that were made by her. Okay, I'll just put 50M for short, capital M. And her 670 grams of flour left would be the unshaded part. So this is your 670 grams. Okay. Now for the next one, Evelyn. So Evelyn made 24 muffins. So we are going to shade off 24 muffins for her, which should look lesser than the 50 muffins, of course. Okay, so maybe 24 muffins would something be like that. So this is 24M. Okay, and the 1190 grams of flour left, of course, will be the unshaded part here. Okay, so my model is done. So I hope from here you are able to observe something. If you manage to observe this dotted line to this dotted line, this gap here, okay, this gap basically is the difference between the two muffins that they made, and it's also the difference between the unshaded parts, which is also the difference between the leftover flour. All right, so we're going to find the difference between the shaded muffins first. Okay, so the difference there would actually just be 50 minus 24. So 26 muffins. Remove the M, just 26 first. All right, so where is the 26 muffins? Your 26 muffins would be here to here. This is your 26 muffins. And this 26 muffins, we are able to work out the mass that is used for this 26 muffins. Okay, how do I do that? Simply look at the difference between the unshaded masses here. So you can just take your 1190 grams minus 670 grams. 520 grams. This is the flour that can be used for 26 muffins. With this, of course, we should go on to find the mass for one muffin. Just do the division. Okay, so every muffin will be 20 grams of flour that is used. So actually you have answered part A. What was the mass of flour needed for each muffin? So there you go, 20 grams. Okay. So part B, so this question is actually a 4-mark question, but they split it into 2 and 2 marks. Okay, so actually, if you manage to do the model for part A, you notice that part A is actually give away 2 marks. You can easily achieve this. Now for B, how much flour did Diana and Evelyn have all together at first? Give an answer in kilograms. Okay, so we want the flour that they both have all together at first. Where is the all together at first? We look back at the model. So Diana's all together at first would be this whole thing, shaded plus the unshaded. It will be the same for Evelyn. Evelyn's at first is shaded and unshaded together. Okay, so actually you just need to work out one person. Either you work out Evelyn or Diana's flour at first, because anyway, each person, they both have equal amount of flour at first. All right, so you get to decide who you want to work with. All right, I think I'll choose Diana to work with. You want to choose Evelyn also can, up to you. Okay, so I'll choose Diana to work with for the at first. So if I choose Diana to work with, means I have to look at the 50 muffins. What is the mass for the 50 muffins? Which is you can use your 20 grams times the 50. But not only this, we actually have to add the unshaded part, the leftover part that she has left, at the 670 grams. So this works out to be 1,670 grams that she has at first, which also means Evelyn at first also the same. Okay, Evelyn at first is also 1670 grams. So this is 1670 grams. This model also 1670 grams. So if I want to find all together at first, you just need to take your 1670 grams times 2 because each person anyway at first is the same amount. Okay, so Evelyn at first also 1670 grams. So simply 1670 grams times 2. You should get 3,340 grams. Now take note the answer once answer in kilograms, okay? Now when they say kilograms, right, they are not referring to this, yeah? Some of you think that, okay, I just put 3 kg and 340 grams. Wrong. Numerically, this is correct for sure. But that's not what the question wants. When they say kilograms, it must be purely kilograms. You cannot have a mix of kg and grams in your final answer like that. Cannot. Okay, so to convert to kilograms, you're gonna think of your conversion from grams to kilograms. Remember grams to kilograms? You see this is a G, this is a kg, G to kg. Notice that the conversion is division of 1,000. 1,000 divide 1,000 give you 1. So you're gonna do the same for this one. When you divide by 1,000 to 3340, yes, you can press calculator or you can just practice the shifting decimal method. So you start from the dot from the back, divide 1,000 means 3 zeros, you move back 3 times. 1, 2, and 3. So you end up here, the dot ends here, which will be 3.340 grams. Sorry, 3.340 kg. So 3.340, the last zero you can omit it. You can just put 3.34, it's fine. Okay, so this is your answer in kg. Right. Okay, I'll move on to question 3. Okay, so during a sale, a boutique sold handbags at discounted price. So take note the price here, the usual price is $450. It's a 15% discount. And if you're a member, you get a further 10% discount on the discounted price. Okay, now do take note of such questions because this kind of question, you should not be adding these two percentages. You should not be telling me that, oh, I get to enjoy 25% discount. No, it doesn't work that way. All right, because this further 10% discount is further discount on top of the discounted price, on the first discounted price after the 15% off. Okay, so basically this 10% is calculated using the new pricing after you have taken away 15% discount. That's why you shouldn't add the two percentages together. Correct. So Mrs. Lee is not a member. How much did she have to pay for the handbag? Okay, so she's not a member, which also means she only enjoys the 15% discount. All right, so how much does she have to pay? Now, usual price is given. You just need to find out what is the new percentage that she needs to pay. So simply, you can just use your 100% minus your 15%. So she pays 85% of the usual price. She only need to pay 85% of the usual price. So remember from here, there are two ways. You can use the unitary method or you can use the multiplication method. Both are fine. Okay, so if I use the multiplication method, then of course it's just 85% times the $450. If you're not comfortable with that, it's okay. Stick to the units method. It's all right. So units method will be 100% is your $450. Then you find 1%. And then you go on to work out 85% because that's the final percentage she is paying. So 450 times 85. Okay, this will be $382.50. For those of you who prefer the other method, sure, I'll show it to you. So if you're using the other method, then you can just use your 85%, which is you can just put it as a fraction, 85 over 100 times the usual price, times the $450. which works out to be the same answer. Okay, now let's go to B. So Madam Fatima was a member of the boutique. How much did she pay for the handbag? Okay, so this time we are calculating for members. All right. Now, remember previously, if you're not a member, you will get to pay $382.50 if you're not a member. Okay, so you don't have to pay usual price for anyone walking to the shop. Even if you're not a member, you at least get 15% discount. After 15% discount, you are paying this price. All right. But because she is a member, Madam Fatima is a member, she will have to actually get to enjoy another further 10% discount on this discounted price. So when I say discounted price, I'm talking about these $382. This is your already discounted price from previously. But now for her, she can enjoy another further 10% discount. All right. So another further 10% discount means that now this $382, you are going to treat this as your new 100%. You treat this as your new set of 100% so that you can use this 10% to do your calculations later on. All right, so we're going to do just that. So the 100% is now treated as $382.50. So now see as two layers. All right, see as two different layers of calculations you're working with. The first 15% is your first layer that you have already calculated earlier. Your second layer of discount is your 10% discount. Okay, which is why based on layers logic, your new layer, new 100% is your $382.50, not your 450. 450 belongs to the first layer. Okay, so see it this way. So now we're going to calculate 1% first. Don't worry about the 3 decimal place. We just leave it there because that's not our final answer yet anyway. It's okay. Right? So how much did she pay for the handbag? Okay, so some of you prefer to find 10% first. No problem. Okay, so if you are more comfortable with finding 10%, go ahead. Some of you, you straight away realize that, oh, okay, further 10% means she paid 90% of this price. All right, but if you find that too complicated because got the 100 minus what and what, okay, you don't want to work with that, it's okay. Just find 10% first. Work out the discount that she gets to further enjoy. All right, so maybe I'll do it this way so that maybe I think majority might be more comfortable with this. So times 10 for this will be $38.25. So this is the members discount. Okay, so I repeat, this is your members discount. If you're a member, okay, this is what you get to enjoy further discount for the bag. So now previously, remember the bag discounted price was $382.50. But as a member, you get to further enjoy this $38 discount. So now you only need to pay how much? You just need to take your 38250 minus all this new $38 further discount. So this works out to be $344.25. This is the new price that members would have to pay. Okay, so that's it. Some of you, you want to work out the multiplication method for this. Actually, it works also. If you use the multiplication method, you can use 90 over 100 times the 38250. Also can, straight away one step. Or you rather take 10 over 100 first, times this 382.5, then you use that 382.5 minus the first answer. Also can. There are a few ways to solve this. All right, so mine is just, I'm using the units way. Okay. So we shall go to question 4. Okay, Lynn bought 6 egg tarts and 8 chicken pies from a cafe for $25.60. And the chicken pie cost $1.10 more than an egg tart. What is the maximum number of egg tarts she could buy with $32? Okay, so actually for this question, there are two concepts involved. First concept, if you can actually read from the first two sentences, if you can tell, it's actually your stacking model concept. Okay, this is a comparison between one pie and one tart. The 6 tarts, 8 pies, they give you total amount. This reminds you, it should remind you of stacking model concept. All right. Then if you read on to the next part, what is the maximum number of tarts she could buy with $32? This part is your grouping concept. Once you found the cost of 8 tart from your stacking concept, you find the cost of 8 tart already, right? Then you can go and work out how many groups, how many 8 tarts to buy with $32. That one will be a simple grouping actually. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to settle the stacking first. All right, so one chicken pie costs 110 more than 8 tart. What we should do first is I will settle a model for this first. All right, so this is how I'm drawing. Let's draw it lower, leave some space here because you are expecting to stack some things later on. Okay, so I'll just call it CP for short, chicken pie, and maybe ET, 8 tarts. Okay, so every chicken pie costs $1.10 more than the 8 tarts. Okay, so take note, this is one chicken pie, one 8 tart. So now if you read back the 6 8 tarts and 8 chicken pies to cost 25.60, you are supposed to stack 6 8 tarts model below. You are supposed to stack 8 chicken pies model on top. Okay, now but the thing is 6 and 8 is a pretty huge number to work with. It's like 14 models. Imagine 14 layers of model. All right. So actually, if you don't want to work with 14 layers of model, can. All right. So what you can do is you can just put dot 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 dot. Okay. Then you can just put a note. This one will be dot 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 dot. All right. And you can just put a note here. This will be for. Let me just change color. Okay. This will be for 8 chicken pies. Whereas this will be for 6 8 tarts. So you just need to visualize the model, 8 chicken pie model with the $1.10 of course, repeated 8 times, and 6 8 tarts model, the one you need repeated 6 times. Okay, and finally we can label the total amount. So total amount will be this whole entire stretch, which is 25.60. Right? So now with this, our goal is to work out the value of 1 unit for the model. This is our first goal. All right. So of course, based on your comparison model that you have learned in the past, you know that you have to get rid of this extra money first. The $1.10. Take note, it's not just 110, but it's actually 8 sets of 110 because there are 8 chicken pies. So there are supposed to be 8 sets of this $1.10. So we're going to work that out. So 8 times $1.10 to get rid of. This will be 880. And of course, I can use my 25.60 minus this $8.80. This will be $16.80 for this. Okay, so the $16.80, we need to ask ourselves how many units is this for now that I've taken away 880 from the 25.60. This new total $16.80 is for the remaining units on the left-hand side here. So how many units will there be? So remember there are 8 chicken pies, so there are 8 units for chicken pies. There are 6 8 tarts, so there are 6 units for the 8 tarts, which also means throughout this whole stretch, there are actually 14 units, 8 plus 6. So 14 units is actually your $16.80. Okay, so last time in P4, you are familiar with your stacking model. So now in P5, this stacking model consists of huge numbers, huge quantity. Once you understand the logic and you have been drilling from your P4 stacking, then this will this will come very natural to you actually. So we're going to divide by 14, which is $1.20. For those who are not familiar with stacking model, don't worry about it. I hope you have understand so far what I'm trying to explain here. So your chicken pies, okay, you're stacking the same exact model, this exact same model 8 times. 8 times, you're stacking the same exact model downward 6 times. Okay, just that we wouldn't want to draw so many of them, 14 layers of. Okay, so avoid that. So 1 unit means this one. This is your 1 unit, which is $1.20. So this is also the cost of one egg tart. Thank goodness, right? So cost of one egg tart, which actually helps us in answering the maximum number of egg tarts that she can buy with $32. So you don't have to care about the chicken pie, just focus on the egg tarts moving forward. So she has $32. Obviously, she's not just going to buy one egg tart. So in order to find number of egg tarts that she can buy, this is where your grouping concept comes in, but you don't have to draw one group because actually one group is just one egg tart basically. Okay, so number of egg tarts, you can just use your $32 that she has, and then you're going to divide by the cost of an egg tart. Divide by $1.20. If you do the calculation, you will notice it gives you some very strange answer. Okay, on your calculator, it gives you 26.666667. You're not going to write down 26.6666 egg tarts, right? Because number of egg tarts should be a whole number. You can't buy half an egg tart. You can't buy a quarter of an egg tart. It doesn't make sense, right? So on your calculator, whatever you see, the whole number before the decimal point should be your egg tarts answer. So it's a 26 egg tarts. No, but you cannot stop your answer here because there should be remainder written down. If you know you can't present your answer as a fraction, you know you can't present your answer as a decimal, you need to go on to create remainder. Okay, so how to know when to create remainder? It depends on what your answer represents. If your answer represents number of items, number of egg tarts, things like that, things that can only be whole numbers, then you use remainder to present the answer. Okay, so it really depends on the context of the question, depends on the context of what your current answer represents. All right. Now to calculate remainder, you gotta recalculate out. All right. So to calculate remainder, you basically just do the reverse of division. Forward is divide, backward, you just take 26 times 1.20. So key that in your calculator, 26 times 1.2. Okay. Once you get the answer, you should get $31.20. Once you have that, you can just use your $32 minus that product. So 32 minus that product, you should see 0.8 on your calculator. And that 0.8 represents the money, 80 cents actually. How do I know it's money? If the first number here is dollars, your remainder naturally will be dollars because it's the remaining money that came from your $32. All right. So this 80 cents, okay, you have to take it into consideration. Can she buy anything else? Can she buy more egg tarts with this 80 cents? So obviously not, because every egg tart is actually $1.20. So this remainder, you can save it out. Okay, she has to keep it into her pocket. She can't use it. So basically the maximum egg tarts that she can buy is actually just 26 egg tarts. So that's it. It's a 4-mark question, worth a lot because two main concepts are involved here. Okay, your stacking model concept, that's the first one. Stacking model will help you achieve the cost of egg tart or the cost of chicken pie. Then with the cost of the items, you go on to do the grouping idea here. Okay, I hope this session has been helpful. So that's all for now. Thank you.